Have you ever felt like you're just drowning in data, but you can't find a single, solid answer to a simple question? Trust me, you are not alone. So today, we're going to cut through all that noise. We'll show you exactly how modern data tools are turning that chaos into clarity, and how that is fundamentally changing everything for businesses.
So let's just dive right in. Look, for so many companies, trying to actually use the data they have to make smart decisions is just this huge, frustrating headache. But why?
This is the big question, isn't it? You've got all this raw material, all the numbers, the logs, the customer info, but turning it into a real, winning strategy, it feels almost impossible. But stick with me here, because we're about to break down exactly how to solve this.
And this slide, it just nails the difference. On one side, you've got the old way. It's slow, everything's stuck in its own little box, you're wrestling with complex tools, you wait months for a report, and in the end, you're just going with your gut. Now look at the other side, the new way. Everything's unified, it's happening in real time, and it's not just for the tech gurus, it's for everyone. You get insights in moments, not months, and that means you're making decisions based on facts, not feeling.
So what's really causing this big traffic jam of data? Well, it usually boils down to a few common culprits. You know, if you're not a data engineer, you have to put in a request, and then you wait and wait. Kind of defeats the purpose of getting a quick insight, right? Then you've got different departments, and neither one can see what the other is doing. Nobody has the full picture. And what happens then? Well, data gets copied all over the place with no rules, and people end up doing the same work over and over again because nothing is ever shared.
All right, so how do we fix all this? The very first step is just getting everyone to look at the same playbook, to finally see that whole picture. And this is where the world of business intelligence steps in.
Yep, business intelligence, or BI for short, this is the answer. It's all about creating what we call a single source of truth. Think of platforms like Looker, for example, that are built to let anyone, not just the data scientists, dig into the data, build their own charts, and actually find their own answers. It's about empowering people to act on what they find, not just sit around waiting for a report.
Okay, let's make this real. Take Diamond Resorts, a huge leader in the hospitality world. They were dealing with this exact problem. I mean, before they made a change, every single part of their business was its own little data island. They were just tangled up in these ridiculously complex Excel sheets and ancient tools. The result? Getting reports to their executives took months, and nobody could even agree on what the basic numbers were.
And the change? It was incredibly fast. After they moved to the cloud and brought in a modern BI platform, it took them less than 3 months to start getting real-time insights. Think about that. From months of waiting down to virtually instant answers. That is a massive leap.
And the impact was just immediate. All of a sudden, they had a complete 360-degree view of their customers. They could actually react to what the market was doing right now. Their teams saved hours of soul-crushing manual work every single day. So this wasn't just some quick fix. It was laying a whole new foundation for a much smarter, more agile business.
And hey, don't just take my word for it. Listen to what their CIO said. Quote, "Projects that we anticipated coming in future years were suddenly ready to be tackled within weeks. That right there is the incredible power of having clear, accessible data."
Okay, a speed up like that is an absolute game changer. And it shows us something really important. Once you solve the clarity problem, the next big challenge is speed. Because in the world we live in today, just being clear isn't enough. You also have to be fast. And that means shifting from how we used to do things, processing data in these slow, clunky batches, to handling a constant, real-time stream.
So let's break down what that really means. You've got batch processing. That's the old way. You collect a massive amount of data and then you process it all at once. It's fine for things like running weekly payroll, right? But the problem is, by the time you see it, the data's already old news. Now, streaming analytics, that's the new way. It processes data continuously as it's being created. You get the insights the very moment something happens.
Yeah, to put it even more simply, streaming analytics is all about analyzing data while it's in motion. It's built for the constant flow of information that defines our world now, not for those big, static files that just sit on a server somewhere.
So what kind of data are we even talking about here? Well, just think about all the information that's constantly being churned out all around us. Sensors on factory equipment, every single click you make on a website, social media feeds just scrolling by, app activity on your phone, data from millions and millions of IoT devices. All of this is super time-sensitive stuff that basically becomes worthless if you wait too long to analyze it.
Right.
So how in the world do you actually handle this never-ending flood of information? You need a totally new kind of setup, a real-time data pipeline that can catch, process, and analyze all that data on the fly.
And honestly, this analogy is just perfect. Think of a data pipeline as a fully automated assembly line, but for information. It takes in all this raw, messy data from a million different sources, moves it down the line, and transforms it into something clean, organized, and actually useful at the other end.
Okay, so the first stop on our assembly line is just catching all that data. That's called ingestion. And a tool like PubSub, it's like a super high-speed digital post office. Its only job is to reliably grab messages from millions of different events happening all at once, whether that's a sensor on a city bus or someone making a move in a mobile game.
All right, once the data is in the door, it's time to process it. And that's where something like Dataflow comes in. These are the robotic arms on our assembly line. It pulls the data apart, transforms it, and gets it ready for analysis. Now, the real magic here is that it's serverless and fully managed. And that's just a fancy way of saying that the developers don't have to worry about all the complicated plumbing behind the scenes. They can just focus on the data itself.
So let's put it all together. This is the modern data journey. Step 1. PubSub ingests millions of events in real time. Step 2. Dataflow transforms and polishes that data. And step 3, a BI tool, like Looker, lets everybody in the company actually see and explore the insights. It's this seamless flow from raw data to real-time answers. All right, I know we've just thrown a lot of technology at you, but why does any of this matter right now? Let's connect all this back to the real-world superpowers it's giving to businesses. Look, this isn't just some futuristic theory. It is happening all around you every single day. When an e-commerce site offers you a special discount based on what you just clicked on, that's real-time data. When your bank sends you an instant fraud alert the second a weird charge appears, that's real-time data. This technology is creating real, tangible advantages for businesses in every industry. If you take one thing away from this, let it be this. For decades, data has basically been a rear-view mirror. It was great for showing us what already happened. But this technology, it transforms data into a live dashboard, giving you a crystal-clear view of the road ahead so you can see what's coming.
And that really brings us to our final thought here. With tools like these, we're closer than we've ever been to a world of instant answers. The bottleneck isn't the technology anymore. It's our own imagination. So, if you could get an instant answer to any question, what would you ask?